Okay. What's your name?
Jasenia Murphy,
And what branch were you in?
Marine Corps.
What was your job?
I was a water purifier.
Okay, cool. What inspired you to join the military, and how old were you when you enlisted?
So I think I was 22, I was 22. And what inspired me was I'm a September 11th survivor. And so I lost my job during, my office was destroyed. So I needed a job and I joined the Marine Corps. It's the fastest thing.
How long did you serve, and what roles?
5 years.
Okay. Where were you stationed during your service?
Camp Lejeune, and I did some time in Camp Foster, Japan, and I was deployed to Iraq.
What was the most memorable location you were deployed?
The Euphrates River.
What was one of the toughest challenges you faced during your time in the military?
Being away from my family. We didn't have internet, so we didn't have like Zoom calls. We had cell phones, but they didn't reach out that far, and so we'd have to wait to get a sat phone, and that was maybe once a month.
Did you have a specific mission or event that stands out as particularly significant in your career?
I purified water off the Euphrates River, and we delivered water 13 hours away to different, what they call DETs, different locations. And if we didn't get water to them, nobody ate, no one took showers, medical didn't get water. So that was significant to me.
How did you handle being away from your family and loved ones during deployments?
At first it was hard, and then you build a routine. And so once you build that routine, that's just what you do. You wake up, you do your thing, you write your letters once a week, or you always, since we didn't have internet, we always number our letters. So like if you got letter 1 and then you got letter 5, if you didn't understand what we were talking about in letter 5, you're like, okay, I got 2, 3, and 4 coming, so.
Okay, what did you learn from working alongside people from different backgrounds and cultures?
That we're all different and we can still work side by side. I know that the person to the left or right of me has my back if I'm deployed, and I have their back.
Okay. How did your view of the world change after serving in the military?
I think it actually changed during my experience in September 11th more than anything. I didn't know that there was that much hatred. I was just blind to it. And so it opened my eyes to, hold on, you guys will edit this, right? It just opened my eyes to how much there's hatred, and it takes too much energy to be that angry with someone. So kindness takes nothing, it costs nothing.
Okay. If you could go back in time, is there anything you would have done differently during your service?
No.
Okay. One last question. What message would you give to younger generations about the importance of military service or honoring veterans?
Respect the veterans. Thank them for their service.
All right, thank you.
Hi, what is your name?
My name is Chris Murphy.
What branch of the military did you serve in?
I served in the United States Marine Corps.
And what was your job?
I was a water support technician, layman's terms, plumber for the Marine Corps.
What was one of the toughest challenges you faced during your time?
Probably just being deployed away from my family. Multiple deployments, but that's probably the hardest thing.
And how did your view change of the world when you were done serving?
Kind of twofold. I served for 15 years, 10 months in the Marine Corps. When I deployed to Bulgaria, I got to see how they viewed us after September 11th. So seeing that another country, obviously felt, our pain and stuff like that, kind of opened my eyes to how people see us outside of the United States. After getting out of the Marine Corps, it's kind of different, kind of transitioning from military life to civilian life. So it's definitely grown from seeing how things kind of played out and everything. But it's definitely grown from what I did in the Marine Corps to what I did when I got out.
Okay. How do you feel about the way veterans are treated and recognized today compared to when you first started serving?
So different states, it's kind of hard to answer a question like that, but different states have a lot more benefits for veterans, or I would say they care about veterans more. I can tell you that Florida is a very patriotic state. Currently, I work as a veteran support veteran service officer for Polk County BOCC. So with that, I get to actually assist veterans with their disability claims and everything. But I can see that there are veterans in different states that don't have what we have here in Florida. We do everything we possibly can to make their life better and assist them where we can, and obviously if we can't, we let them know from that area. But it's kind of a state by state question, because you'll have some veterans that may be in California that won't get the same benefits, or I would say services that we do here. So it's definitely kind of a state by state thing that I can see that there's definitely a difference in how veterans are treated across the country.
All right, thank you. That's all.
Yeah, man, thanks.
Hi. What is your name and what branch were you in?
My name's Lewis Moore. I was in the Army.
All right. What was your job?
My job was infantry, 11 Bravo.
Wow. What inspired you to join the military, and how old were you when you enlisted?
My grandpa was a Marine, and I guess what inspired me was him. And then my mom's best friend was in the Army herself. So growing up around her and like seeing her in uniform and whatnot inspired me to join. I was 18 when I joined.
How long did you serve during the military?
I served 3 years.
Okay. Where were you stationed during your service, and what was the most memorable location or deployment?
I was stationed at Fort Wainwright, Alaska. I guess my biggest memory is the cold, for sure. I was a 50 cal gunner, so I guess a lot of runs on the 50 cal, for sure.
What was one of the toughest challenges you faced during your time in the military?
I would say early on in my career in the military, it was a time of like transition. So we had a lot of like senior guys that were moving out, and us new guys were coming in. So you need leaders at the time. So very early, I was thrown into a supervisor, team leader position. So I guess kind of learning that and trying to figure out where I wanted to go with my career as well. It was challenging, so I guess being so young and not ever being a supervisor.
Okay. Did you have a specific mission or event that stands out as particularly significant in your career?
I would say my career mainly revolved around, I guess the 50 cal was my baby in a sense. So usually just learning my weapon system and trying to perfect that so I could be a better soldier and teach other people about what my role was at the time.
How did you handle being away from your family and loved ones during deployments?
At the time, I was still young, so I guess I was still figuring out things. Being so far away, especially in Alaska, it's like you can't fly home when you want to. So I guess just getting out, finding things, and I guess fortunately for me is I had my wife that eventually moved there within a year of me being stationed there, and then one of my best friends from high school ended up with the same duty station. So we kind of confided in each other and we got through it together. So.
Okay. What did you learn from working alongside people from different backgrounds and cultures?
What I learned is that we're all unique in our own ways, no matter where you come from. But at the end of the day, it's like those are your brothers and sisters that are around you, and it's all the same mission. You're all there for the same mission. I would say, I guess, like I said, you're all unique in your own ways, and at the end of the day, you got a job to do, so to trust each other and fight together.
Right. How did your view of the world change after serving in the military?
I would say it's definitely an eye-opener. I guess growing up, you don't really think about what our service members are going through until you're going through it yourself. So I would say just, how do I say this? Just being appreciative for everything that you have that's at hand, because in the military you go without a lot of the time. So I'd say that was my biggest eye-opener was.
If you could go back in time, is there anything you would have done differently during your service?
I asked myself this before, and I'm a true believer is you can't dwell on the past, and every decision has a purpose in life. So I would say no, I'd do it all over again.
Okay. One final question is, what message would you give to younger generations about the importance of military service or honoring veterans?
I would say listen, for sure. Listen and respect your elders, but I don't want to say especially your veterans, but your veterans do play a big part on society. And I would say for my younger self is to slow down and take everything that you have for granted, and don't be in a rush to get through things. Be open-minded and always push on.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.